Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger. Hard to get this halftime up on the air. All the Giant fans around me are cheering madly because the Giants have their first rally of the day against Tampa Bay. We had overtime in Cleveland, Miami. Brian Sipe freezes that tough Dolphin defense, gives himself a lot of time, and then Irv went to Reggie Rucker. Rucker had himself a marvelous afternoon. Watch this catch by Ozzie Newsome for a Cleveland touchdown. One-handed. But then it was Don Strock replacing Bob Greasy, driving the Dolphins back to a 24-all tie, now in OT. The gunfighter, Sipe, most underrated quarterback in the league, steps up. Rucker's free. Tim Foley can't catch it. And it's 30-24. Now, these games are in progress, and yes, that is what's happening. San Diego 21, Pittsburgh nothing. Lord Jeff, John Jefferson, caught a 16-yarder to get San Diego going, and Fouch has been red hot. Kansas City still leading Oakland. They're at the half now. It's 10-7 by a field goal. Stabler just went 2 yards to Van Egan to get the Raiders back in the hunt. And San Francisco leads Denver 21-10 in the second. James Owens returned a punt 85 yards for a touchdown in that game. Houston now getting ready for that Thanksgiving Day shootout with Dallas, destroying Cincinnati. 35-7. Pastorini went 17 yards to Barber. Campbell scored from 2 yards out also. Now the game that's underway with the Giants being shut out right now. 14-0 by Tampa Bay. But again, the Giants are threatening for the first time this afternoon. Kodar has them inside the 20-yard line. And another game at the half. And, of course, you're watching that one. 24-14. Hey, Jim Zorn had some first half, didn't he? Passed for more than 200 yards. Now, Jane, there was a major news development in the NFL off the field this week.
That's true, Brent. Earlier this week, Ed Garvey, the executive director of the Players Association, said the NFL was, quote, a monument to racism in its hiring practices of blacks and coaches in the front office personnel. Speaking with Irv and Brent earlier, Garvey repeated that charge and said former Green Bay Packer Willie Wood is an example of a black who should be a coach in the NFL. Irv then asked Commissioner Pete Rozelle for his response to the charge.
Well, I would like to see more minorities involved in coaching and other aspects of the NFL. I think that great progress has been made, and I believe that we'll have more in the future. But on the other hand, I think the same charge could be made of most companies and institutions in this country, including your network, Brent, and the other networks, media, all companies. I think that finding qualified minority people is the responsibility of all of us. But I think to make a charge of racism is a very, very disruptive thing for, in the middle of a football season, to make those charges in a correspondence with the NFL player representatives was irresponsible.
Commissioner, thank you. Brent?
Let me put that to Ed. Ed, the commissioner says that charge is irresponsible in the middle of a season. How do you feel about that?
Well, when you send out private communications to your player representatives, and after all, I work for them, and we asked them to take a position, and we were aiming toward a position at the end of the season, I don't think it's irresponsible. It's an important time to talk to the players while they're together and get their point of view. I think it's more irresponsible, really, to worry about personalities and who said what to whom. I think the most important thing is to face the fact that blacks do not have very many important positions in the NFL, and let's deal with it. Whether it's me or whether it's Lenny Haas, the president of the union, sitting down with the commissioner and the owners, we think that's the way to tackle the problem, worrying about who said what to whom.
And let me address this to the commissioner. Irv, Pete, what you're saying is that the owners are addressing that question? They are trying to make progress in the racial area?
Well, they have been for a number of years, and I think we have made progress. Hopefully we'll have more. I think one of the problems is that you're in competition today. You're in competition with all business. I know as a fact, and I think he will acknowledge it, that Irv Cross was offered the business manager's job at the Dallas Cowboys some years ago. But Irv was in a situation then with his outside business interests where he couldn't afford to come in at that level with the football team and give up the income he was earning, I believe, at that time with the brokerage. So I think that one of the problems is that the qualified people, black and white, frequently have better opportunities outside of football, but hopefully we can develop and also recruit more top ones.
Just think of the Super Bowls you passed up, Irv.
At least 3, right?
You could have gotten tickets for all my friends, right?
Well, you were the first one to get one, believe me.
All right. The NFL Today will continue on CBS with a lot of highlights after these messages from your local stations.
who's coming to dinner tonight. The whole family's back for Thanksgiving, and have they got news?
I was fired, Arch.
A special one-hour Archie Bunker's plays tonight.
This is CBS.
You're in good company on Cairo.
What's happened to the Dallas Cowboys? Take a look at the standings. NFC East, a three-way tie, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Washington. Well, Irv, here's what happened to the Cowboys today. They were mobbed by the Redskins. On this first sequence, you'll see a fumble by Laidlaw, recovered by Washington.
The Redskin defense today was tenacious, Brent. Of course, Coy Bacon recovered that fumble.
Theismann, Irv, then went to John McDaniel. Touchdown, Washington.
Big day for Joe. Hit 15 out of 24 for 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, but no interceptions. Here's a long pass to Danny Buggs, who collected 111 yards today receiving.
And John Riggins, Irv, powered across from there for Washington. Now, here's the big play. Dallas was threatening late in the second period. Kenny Houston on the safety blitz, and Roger fumbled.
Coy Bacon again, number 79. What a big day he had. He was formerly drafted by the Dallas Cowboys.
Theismann going to Clarence Harmon. And the route is complete. 34-20. Washington wins it easily. Now, speaking of big days, watch O.J. Anderson, 32, keep it on the fake end around.
You want to pick a Rookie of the Year? There he is right there, number 32. Gained 110 yards rushing today. Now leads the National Football Conference in rushing with 1,215 yards. Number 32 is finally dragged down at the 1.
Morris scoring for St. Louis. And then it was Jim Hart to Mel Gray.
You may not believe this, Brent, but I played against Mel Gray. Number 85 was always tough to cover, and what a quick receiver.
Hart here, and Morris hooking up again, up over the top of the... Here's the key play. Watch Krepfle. What a great catch by the Philadelphia tight end from Jaworski. Now, Jane, what about the games remaining?
Well, the schedule stands, and I think Dallas has the roughest of the three in the lead. They play Houston, and then followed by the Giants. They go to Philadelphia, and that last game on December 16th with Washington. Washington's schedule is as follows: the Giants, Green Bay, Cincinnati, then they go to Dallas, and Philadelphia at Green Bay, followed by Detroit and Dallas, and then their final game with Houston.
I think you're right, but the way Dallas is playing, I'll tell you, any schedule is going to be tough right now. Now, the NFC Central, Tampa Bay, if they beat the Giants today and they're ahead by 2 touchdowns, they could have the best record in the NFC. You heard it here first. Tampa Bay could go to the Super Bowl this year, but don't repeat it too loudly. They'll think you're as crazy as I am. Todd Tabarkin in Chicago, and the Jets blow another extra point. And then, Irv, back they came with Mike Phipps. Are they a different team with him?
You know, he's kind of a guy I would describe as a late developer. He's always had great physical skills. Now he's putting them to work.
That was Williams up over the top. Great fake by Phipps right here, Irv, to Peyton. Then he throws to Williams for the touchdown, and Chicago beats the Jets. Here's Terry Miller exploding against Green Bay.
The Oklahoma State running back was second in the Heisman Trophy voting his senior year. He's finally starting to show some of that flash he showed last year. Pretty good run.
And watch this catch by Lofton over the middle for the Packers. They lost this game to Buffalo 19-12, but they led on that reception until Collier came back for the score. Now watch Collier. He's all alone, but he says, I got to spike it. He gets it done. Now it's Minnesota and Detroit. You'll see Detroit Thanksgiving Day against Chicago and Walter Payton. They forced Chuck Foreman to turn it over. Comlow on the keeper. How'd McNeil miss that tackle?
He's a good open field tackler. I'm surprised he did miss it, but of course the Lions take advantage of it with a score.
Kramer then coming back, and it is Ricky Young. Irv, you told me that Ricky played college football with Walter?
His freshman year at Jackson State, they had in their backfield Ricky Young, Walter Payton, and Wilbert Montgomery from the Philadelphia Eagles, all 1,000-yard rushers in the National Football League.
Giants settle for a field goal. They're coming back. Tampa Bay 14, the Giants 3. Let's send you back now to Vin Scully and George Allen.